Hi, wait till we get to the first story. I'm out of my mind. I want to throw something across the room. But first, we'll start with late night. The late night jokes are not the subject that I'm upset about. It's after the late night jokes. Late night had some good stuff about President Biden hosting a ceremony on the South Lawn. He signed a bill that mandates federal recognition for same-sex marriages. Okay, that's the setup. But again, let me be clear. That's not what I'm upset about at all. The jokes, Jimmy Fallon said. When he heard, Mike Pence was like, barkeep, give me a shot of whole milk. Just leave the whole carton. Seth Meyers said, respecting marriage? Wow. Biden really is undoing all of Trump's orders. Kimmel went with the bill passed with strong bipartisan support in the House and Senate. Wow, even the partisanship was by. That's really great. Fantastic jokes there. All right, Johnny Mac, what are you upset about? You ready? The Mark Twain Prize. Now let me tell you about the Mark Twain Prize. The Mark Twain Prize for American Humor has been awarded every year since 1998 to an individual whose impact on society rivals that of the award's namesake, 19th century novelist and essayist Mark Twain, okay? So it's the Mark Twain Prize for American Humor, and it goes to an individual whose impact on society rivals that of Mark Twain. Have you heard of Mark Twain? Yeah, he died like 100 years ago, and you've heard of him. So we're going to honor an individual whose impact on society rivals that of Mark Twain. Some of the previous winners include Dave Chappelle, Richard Pryor, Jon Stewart, George Carlin. This year, the award will go to Adam Sandler. Are you kidding me? Adam Sandler? Kennedy Center President Deborah F. Rutter said, Adam Sandler has entertained audiences for over 3 decades with his films, music, and his tenure as a fan favorite cast member on SNL. Adam has created characters that have made us laugh, cry, and cry from laughing, and throw things across the room in disgust. All right, let's review the list. George Carlin, Richard Pryor, Jon Stewart, Dave Chappelle, Whoopi Goldberg, Julia Louis-Dreyfus, Tina Fey, Adam Sandler, newest winner of the Mark Twain Prize for American Humor. Somebody likes the guy's comedy. Well, he's on tour and he's added some new dates. So if you're in Chicago, Pittsburgh, St. Louis, Nashville, Austin, Dallas, Houston, or some other cities, why don't you go see Adam Sandler do Opera Man or whatever the hell you people think is funny? I don't get it at all. Boy, you're cranky today, Johnny Mac. Hey, remember yesterday I read a review where the guy totally killed Tom Papa's special? Well, I have seen Tom Papa's special, and the guy from yesterday is going to call me old. I dug Tom Papa's special. A lot of marital jokes, a lot of jokes about not being able to sleep through the night. And I will tell you, last night from 2:30 to 3:45, I was staring at the ceiling. I hear you, Tom Papa. I noticed as I watched it a few things. One, I hear a lot of the Jerry Seinfeld influence in this current special. Tom used to open for Jerry. They are friends. I mean, I hear so much Jerry in especially the first 2/3 of this special that if Jerry performed the material verbatim, I don't think you would notice that it's not Jerry Seinfeld material. I'm not at all saying Jerry wrote it. I'm just saying influence. It's like George Harrison. You spend enough time with Lennon and McCartney, you get pretty good at writing songs, you know? Another thing I noticed, Tom Papa doesn't use the space at all. Like, at all. Like, I think I've moved more during this podcast than Tom Papa moves during the entire hour. He also has not one hand on the mic, 2 hands on the mic stand, almost the entire special. I think his shoes were glued to the floor. Didn't move at all. No pacing, no working the stage. Just walked up to the mic, grabbed the thing like he was an open micer, terrified, and held it with 2 hands for the hour. Very strange. I also observe, and by the way, I like the special. I'm telling you this is a good special, and it's on my end of year top whatever it is list. I like it, but he didn't move. I also noticed he didn't engage the crowd at all. In fact, after the show proper ends, he kind of hangs around and thanks everybody, but it's like, oh, I am supposed to thank the audience now. Thank you. You guys are great. Stay safe, everyone. Like, no human connection at all. It's very strange. I like the special a lot. First 2/3 are pretty awesome. Last third is a little weak. The closer's weak, but the middle, really strong. The last third did not land. Johnny Mac, this sounds confusing. Are you saying the special's bad? Nope. The special's good. Watch it. Then I watch Atsuko Okatsuka's special. Really, really good. You can tell from the way she walks out, high energy. The set looks great. You're like, this special is going to be good. All right, Johnny Mac, that's nice. The set looks good, whatever. Is it funny? Yes, 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 yes. This one, I'll tell you, my end of year list is way up there, so far up there that some of you are going to hit me on the social medias and be like, really, dude? Yes, really, dude. It's very funny. It is clever. There's a theme that runs throughout the show that she weaves in and out of, a lot of misdirection. She engages the crowd and uses the crowd extremely well. The whole thing just feels fun and upbeat. So Atsuko, The Intruder, is on HBO Max. Big time thumbs up. You hearing me? This one's way up the list. Watch that one. Really good. Andrew Schulz on his podcast had some comments about the exchange with Russia that led to the release of Britney Griner. Andrew Schulz said, I think the issue for me is it seems like they made the trade for only Britney for political points. It seems like it's a little bit of a virtue signal, if you will. I don't like the idea that we're going to trade this merchant of death, the guy who's responsible for probably tens and thousands of deaths and like destabilization around the world, which we're also responsible for. I'm not saying we're innocent, but it doesn't exactly feel like a fair trade. And if you're doing it just to get a PC pat on the back, it feels a little gross, right? FX is going to remake Peep Show. Have you seen Peep Show? After you're done with Atsuko's special, go over to Hulu and watch Peep Show, British sitcom. It's probably 20 years old now. Fantastic. It stars Mitchell and Webb. If you don't know who they are, I was trying to think as I was prepping for the show how to explain who Mitchell and Webb are. They had a sketch comedy show called That Mitchell and Webb Look. There's a clip from that where there are two Nazi officers and one asks the other, are we the baddies? If you're this far in a comedy podcast, you may have seen that clip. That's who Mitchell and Webb are. They starred in Peep Show. Peep Show is fantastic. One of the great comedies of all time. Sitcom. Great. You should watch it. Well, FX is trying to make an American version of it. This is not the first, second, third, or fourth attempt at an American version. This is the fifth. I've seen one of the pilots of the American version, which starred two men. There's a point here coming up. And it was, just didn't work. In the original version, we see what's happening in the sitcom through the eyes of the two leads who are male roommates. The new version follows the relationship between a long-suffering assistant and her boss, an emotionally unstable tech entrepreneur. The two leads will be women this time. The pilot will not be a retread of the original, but rather a new show that takes inspiration from its unique narrative format. Guys, why don't you just make something new then? Don't make this. This just upsets me. Peep Show ran for 9 seasons and 54 episodes from 2003 to 2015. Yeah, 20 years ago, like I said. In 2019, Peep Show was named the 13th greatest British sitcom. Say that 5 times fast. This was take 7. That's a hard sentence. 13th greatest British sitcom. Say it fast. Try it right now. I'll wait. 13th greatest British sitcom. I can't do it. Anyway, the 13th greatest by Radio Times. I wonder what else is on that list. Sidebar, Google, Radio Times, best British sitcoms. I'll start from the top. Fawlty Towers was number 1. Good choice. Father Ted is fantastic. Great choice. I'm Alan Partridge at 3. Never really been into that one. Blackadder, Dad's Army, Only Fools and Horses. Porridge, which I've never heard of. Brits are like, you never heard of Porridge, stupid yank. The Royal Family, absolutely fabulous. Dinner Ladies, also never heard of that. The Thick of It, The Office, Peep Show at 13, The Vicar of Dibley at 14, The Fallen Rise of Reginald Perrin, The Young Ones, Gavin and Stacey, The Good Life, Detectorist, that's a fun show, and Whatever Happened to the Likely Lads. Never heard of that one either, and this list is from 2019. I digress. Yes, you do, Johnny Mac. Party Down is coming back. Have you watched Party Down? All right, after you watch Atsuko, and then you watch 54 episodes of Peep Show, then luckily for you, you're already on Hulu watching Peep Show. You get to stay there, and you're going to watch Party Down. This is a show that ran like 10 years ago. It's about a bunch of caterers. The cast is amazing. I'll tell you in a second. None of us watched it. I didn't watch it. You didn't watch it. When I heard it was coming back, I'm like, that sounds fun. I'll watch it. It's on Hulu. It's fantastic. I think the first 2 seasons are, I don't know, 6, 8 episodes each, so you can blow through this pretty quickly. Anyway, they're coming back for a 3rd season. It's been 12 years since the Stars with a Z comedy was canceled, but in the new version, 10 years later, most of the Party Down catering team have moved on, including actor/bartender Henry Pollard, played by Adam Scott. After a surprise reunion, the gang find themselves once again stoically enduring the procession of random parties and oddball guests all over LA. Like I said, it's a really fun show. Season 3 is 6 episodes. The cast includes Adam Scott, Ken Marino, Jane Lynch, Martin Starr, Ryan Hansen, and Megan Mullally. Not mentioned in the Season 3 cast is Lizzie Kaplan, who was working on something else. Presumably, Fleischman is in Trouble, would be my guess time-wise. By the way, Fleischman is in Trouble is on Hulu. You should be watching that. Hulu should be advertising, apparently, because I'm also going to tell you to watch Welcome to Chippendales on Hulu, which is fantastic. My guess is Lizzie Kaplan shows up. She was too important to some of the plot points of season 1 and 2. I won't spoil it for you. You could probably figure it out. I'd be shocked if she doesn't make an appearance in season 3. Howie Mandel gave some comedy tips to Camila Cabello on The Voice. Cabello told the cameras during the finale the other night, "I think of myself as a pretty funny person, but this season the audience didn't always think so." Blake Shelton said, "Will you guys please laugh at one of her jokes?" Howie Mandel gave Cabello a 3-minute masterclass on how to be a comedian. First, he gave her a lesson on how to deal with hecklers. Howie Mandel said, "You got to be able to come right back." Cabello said, "You're not funny." Mandel said, "You're a banana." That confused her, so I guess Howie won. So if anybody ever heckles you, just yell, "You're a banana." He then gave Cabello a rundown on how to have stage presence. During the bit, they prowled around the room, pointing to random locations. I dropped the G there, the Queen's accent, pointing to random locations and saying, "You're a banana." Howie said, "You know, Camila's not a natural, but I can teach anyone." Veer Das has announced his new stand-up special, Landing, will be on Netflix on Boxing Day. The Brits are like, "We know when Boxing Day is, Yanks." That's December 26th. Boy, the Brits that I'm making up my mind hate me apparently today. Wow. It's Veer Das's 4th special. This one revolves around the reaction he got to his Two Indias monologue that he delivered at the Kennedy Center in Washington, D.C. last year. You know, the Kennedy Center, that's where the Mark Twain Prize is, where they put Adam Sandler in a class with George Carlin, Richard Pryor, Jon Stewart, Dave Chappelle. That's the place, yeah. I digress. Video of the Two Indias speech included lines such as, "I come from an India where we worship women during the day and gang rape them at night." That went viral while he was on a plane back to Mumbai. By the time he landed, his entire world had changed, which is the premise of the special Landing, a show about freedom, foolishness, the West, the East, and what it means to be a citizen of one nation in a global world. That sounds really good. Tenacious D, back on tour. Bunch of shows in the U.S. starting in May, then they'll head across the Atlantic in June. Tenacious D, Chesterfield, Missouri, May 8th, Kansas City, May 9th, New Orleans, May 11th, then off to Germany, Austria, Zurich, Brussels, Rotterdam, and London. Hi, angry Brits that I'm making up. Told you the other day Kevin Hart was planning on playing Cairo. Well, Egyptian social media users are calling for a cancellation of Kevin Hart's Cairo show. A hashtag calling for the cancellation became one of the top trending topics on various social media channels over the past week in Egypt. The nationalnews.com has the story, and they write verbatim, "Hart, an African-American, is a vocal proponent of Afrocentrism, an approach to studying world history that aims to highlight the role of Black Africans in the shaping of humanity's narrative, which supporters of the movement say has been played down due to racist academic traditions inherited from Europe." Egyptians on social media circulated one particular comment by the comedian they say was made during a recent interview in which he highlights the importance of teaching African children about when they were the kings of Egypt. Many also pointed out Hart's recent partnership deal with Black Sands Entertainment, a media company known for its Afrocentric graphic novels and animated films about African history across the diaspora. A number of posts also included photos of ancient Egyptian relics in which Egyptians and Africans are shown together with distinctly different facial features. A tweet by Kevin Hart announcing the show in Egypt was met with angry responses from his Egyptian followers, with several telling the comedian he was not welcome in a country whose history he's attempted to rewrite. Meanwhile, Kevin Hart has added more dates to his North American tour. Those new dates start February 10th in Phoenix. Then he'll be up in Edmonton, Saskatoon, Winnipeg, Ottawa, London, Ontario, Halifax, and Moncton, New Brunswick. The event will be a phone-free experience. Use of phones will not be permitted in the performance space. New comedy album out today from Mike Bridenstine. It's called Hustle. Moshe Kasher calls Mike a cross between Hemingway and Belushi. Love it. Kumail Nanjiani says he's one of the most effortlessly and naturally funny people I've ever met. Rob Delaney says Mike is an effing riot. Most of his jokes I've repeated out loud to myself and laughed like an idiot. Throughout Hustle, Mike recounts incredibly funny vignettes about Ken Griffey Jr., scripts which save lives and scripts which are bad. Mike drops at jury duty, advice for an aspiring rapper, and of course, Hustle. And Zane Lamprey has a new special out. This one's called Tender Looks. Lamprey is constantly be told that he has the world's greatest job. For over a decade, Zane has hosted travel shows like 3 Sheets and Drinking Made Easy, where his job is to belly up to the bar and drink with the locals. In the new special Tender Looks, Zane shares stories of his misadventures while traveling the world and throwing them back. He's had many memorable experiences while drinking. In Tender Looks, he shares the ones he remembers. Love it. Lampley said in a statement, "I've gotten countless hangovers collecting these stories. I hope it was worth it." Tender Looks. You'll find it now on demand, Amazon Prime, Apple, Spectrum, Google Play, Vimeo, YouTube, and more. And the album is out today. And that is your comedy news for today. I don't know why I bother telling you normal episodes all weekend. I always do normal episodes now. I haven't done weekend filler in a long time. Maybe Thanksgiving weekend I did one, but it's normal episodes anyway, all weekend long. You can follow the show for free on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, YouTube, wherever you get your shows. Now, looking ahead, I can tell you the final 2 weeks of the year are strong. I think I'm going to do my best of the year episode on December 26th. And I've got a lot of cool articles I've been putting away. Plus, I'm not going anywhere. I have Google. I can Google the word comedy while watching football and find stuff for the podcast. So, I know a lot of podcasts take these next couple weeks off. This one, nope, I'll be here. New episodes. All right, that was a lot today. Adam Sandler, Mark Twain Prize. See ya.